Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Tommy Gilmore with Noisy Bird Digital Marketing, and you are watching another episode of the Wingin It podcast. Here at Wingin It, we always say that as a business owner, if you feel like you're just winging it, we hope to bring you some guidance, some help, and hopefully a little bit of our lived experience as business owners. I'm joined today. I'm super duper excited. I'm here with Ryan Basham from Basham Construction. He's an outfit out of Indiana, and man, I started following you on Facebook. I'm really excited to talk because the way that you talk, I've listened to a couple episodes of your podcast. I know that you're passionate about business, and even just in our little pregame chat, I could tell that this is going to be a really fun one. So Ryan, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very excited. Fun fact, nobody's ever asked me to be on a podcast yet, so you're the first.
I'm sure the first of many.
One and done.
No, I think this will be the first of many.
Yeah, no, I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to come on your podcast and talk to everybody. I do agree with you as well. Our 2 or 3 minute talk was pretty good too. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in and see where I can help people. And honestly, I'm here to learn too. So I'm excited about both of them. So,
That's awesome.
Thanks again.
Well, Ryan, tell people a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got started in the construction business, how long you've owned. I won't even say Basham Construction because I know it had a different iteration before this.
Yep.
So tell people about your journey in the construction world and then into owning your own business.
Yeah. I love construction. I was kind of born into it. Like right out of high school, in the middle of high school, I worked for a custom home builder, Mike Cody Construction. Still to this day, I consider him the GOAT. Nobody's better than him. He taught me a lot about construction. So fast forward through, my 20s, you're kind of learning yourself, learning your adult life and learning what you need out of life. So I worked for a couple of huge builders, very, very large builders, learned a lot there. And then as, life progressed, I got into quite a few sales roles. I sold for, Caterpillar, John Deere, some larger companies. So I got a taste of a lot of awesome, sales environments and a lot of things I loved, a lot of things I didn't love. And I just kind of kept hold of the things that I really found value. So fast forward into, 2019, I won't bore you with all the boring stuff, but I started a company called Honeydew's Home Projects. And the reason I did that is I felt, I have all these tools in my garage. I love construction. I love buying tools. I love all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, to support that, I'm going to do my career and I'm going to do like a side hustle, Honeydew's Home Projects. And we just did like pantry remodels, laundry rooms, little stuff like that. And it quickly evolved into, hey, can you remodel my kitchen? Hey, can you remodel my bathroom? Hey, can you remodel my entire house? I mean, it evolved quickly. So I told myself, I do love marketing. Marketing is fun to me. It's fun to figure out how people tick really and how they make decisions. And so I just, started a Facebook page, started all that stuff. And I said, hey, if I ever get it to a certain amount of followers and we can stay this busy, I'm going to switch it to a full-on construction company. We did that very quickly and it became Basham Construction. And from there on, I mean, we have just been off to the races, right? There comes ebbs and flows to that, and there's challenges, and there's things you wish you could have done different. But I go back to that marketing piece. That was really the indicator when to make that jump for me, anyway. We affectionately still talk about Honeydew's Home Projects. It's near and dear to my heart. My kids, I've made a little Instagram video that I used for marketing. Made a little commercial. It was kind of cute, but I still remember those days. And those days were not that long ago. Those were some of the scariest, most happiest days of my life, if that can make sense. But so we've been doing this ever since. We're scaling, we're growing every year, we're adding people. But every year, I mean, the challenges get stacked up. There's obstacles, there's circumstances, there's just things that get in the way that you have to overcome that people don't talk about. Like right now, the market has shifted. It's not as aggressive as it was the last 3 or 4 years. I'm not afraid to talk about those things. It's real.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you suck if you don't have a year and a half's worth of backlog. You may have a few months, right? But that's just part of business, and that's part of navigating through that business. And I do have a heart for that. I've seen that movie before, so to speak. So it's never comfortable to go through those times, but that's where the growth is. That's where you grow. Are those dark, tough times. That's where the growth is. So hopefully I answered most of that question, but I'm kind of a yapper, so you gotta keep me on track.
You totally did. What I'm going to prove I've listened to your podcast because I'm gonna call you on something. You said that you did it because you had tools in the garage. I know you did it because you like cigars and you needed cigar money.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't needing cigar money. It was more like, man, I hate burning a couple $100 on cigars when my kids need shoes for soccer or for football or for whatever, whatever. The family always needs something. So I did do that because I like high-end cigars. And I thought, shoot, if I make a few $100 a month, nobody will know the wiser, right? That's really how that started. And good for you for listening. I didn't realize they may listen to that. So but that is the truth. That's how Honeydews got started, was that. So Thank you for pointing that out. And thanks for listening. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. I think it's funny the reasons that we start businesses. That's why I wanted to bring that up. I didn't bring it up to embarrass you.
Yeah. Oh no, shoot. I'm actually low. My humidor's right there. If you can't tell.
Oh, there you go.
It's low. So if Noisy Bird wants to sponsor a box of cigars, I'll give you my address.
There you go.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, the reason that we start businesses, it can be as simple as, hey, I need a little bit of extra money. I've got some tools laying around, or for people that don't know my story, I was working for the government. I was literally making $20.08 an hour. I remember my wage. That's what I was making on paper. I had a degree, I had experience. My wife decided to go back to school. We're pregnant with number 3, and the car breaks down. And I'm like, there goes our $5,000 of savings. It was a $4,200 transmission repair.
Yep.
Now we have $800 in savings, and it's supposed to last us for the next 2 years. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, as providers, as men, as, people that love our families, we do what we have to do. I started making videos for people, and it just went from there. And so, I mean, I think for you, when you made that jump, when you said, okay, we're going to build an Instagram following, we're going to start the marketing, we're going to kind of figure it out as we go, and then we're going to make this transition from just sort of our honeydew items to people are asking me to do this anyway, I want to do it. Like, talk people through your mindset at that time. Like, what were you feeling? How did you talk to yourself through those feelings, and what did it take to ultimately make that decision to make that leap?
Yeah, so I go back to I sold crop insurance for about a year and a half, and that was about the same time. Whenever you're scaling a business, like when you're I don't like the word breadwinner. I don't like it, but you know what I'm saying. If you're the main provider, how's that? You have a duty to your family. You have a duty to the people around you. At least that's how I look at it. My mom, I mean, I tell you what, she didn't beat me, but she pounded that in my brain. Like, you are a provider. You're a man. You do these. My dad did the same thing, but so I take it very seriously. I often wonder if I take it too seriously because I look at those around me and they're like, they don't have a care in the world. I'm like, dude, we got a lot to do here. So I take it very, very seriously. So making that decision, it was almost fight or flight. It's kind of, I'm huge into music. My daughter is too. And there's some lyrics that just, they're slipping my mind right now, but that just inspire me. But like, you don't have a choice. There is no plan B. Like, this is it. I listen to the Real AF, which I would encourage everybody that's a hustler to listen to that. Andy Frisella. It's a zero compromise mentality. It is really what it is. Like today, it's August, 5th or September 5th. Sorry. I don't feel great about the fourth quarter of this year, if I'm being honest. Years past, I would go into the fourth quarter almost like a coasting mindset, but I don't do that. I don't believe in coasting. I don't believe in taking a day off, month off, all that. That's just me. I'm not saying it's wrong if you do it, but it's that I cannot, if I stop, I feel like everybody's going to pass you. It's like a race of life, really. You might be ahead 2 or 3 laps, and that feels good right now. But And a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, people could start passing you and you don't know it if you're not aware of it, right? So it's kind of that mentality. The day I decided to leave the insurance and go 100% self-employed was the most exciting, terrifying day of my life. Chris Jones was a huge part of that decision process. Chad Cooper was a huge part of that decision process. My best friends, right? You gotta lean on those guys in those dark moments to say, hey man, this is what I'm thinking. And these guys are like, I don't know why aren't doing it sooner, right? So they believe in you. So you have to have some self-belief. You have to have a support system that can help you get launched, so to speak, because it is a lonely road. Being an entrepreneur is not rainbows and butterflies, man. You have a lot of dark days that people don't talk about.
And it's definitely not for the faint of heart either.
Yeah. And you got to be able to get yourself through that. That's one thing I try to coach my kids on is, I may not be here, forever. I may, kick the bucket or whatever. There's something about being self-reliant and understanding your self-worth and the things that you're capable of, because you have to get yourself out of that sometimes. You can't rely on other people to come save the day as an entrepreneur, because that just doesn't exist.
Yeah. That I think that's the beauty is, I don't know if you've read the book Extreme Ownership.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I love that mentality, that idea of no matter what, it's my fault, it's my responsibility, whether it's good or bad. If my employee messes something up, it's my fault because our systems aren't where they need to be. Our accountability is not where it needs to be. There's something that's happening that is slacking a little bit. And, for me, my client's suffering because of my mess up right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think the more that we're willing to take it a little bit personally, not too personally, it is just business. It's not life or death most of the time.
Right.
But it is our livelihoods. If we treat it that way, if we take it seriously and take it a little bit personally to that right level, man, I think that's where the magic really does happen in business. I've seen it a few times where, like you said, you're like, I'm looking at my quarter or I'm looking at what we have ahead. It's looking a little thin. My back feels like it's against the wall. Like right now I've got employees that I'm paying. I'm hiring more employees. And for me, I'm nervous to hire more employees, but I'm the primary person that does sales. So if I feel nervous, how do I get out of that? Freaking go sell to people, right? Like,
you gotta hustle,
I don't have
man.
a choice.
I mean, I'm looking at, we're doing fine. We got a great back. We got things in place that are going well. However, it's that mentality of you can never, and this is going to sound bad, you can't ever be satisfied. That's not the right word I like to use, because I am very satisfied and very happy where we're at, and I'm thankful, most importantly. But that when you're the captain of that ship, I don't know that you ever feel good. Like, man, we've made it. That whole we've made it, I don't even know what that means. Even the most wealthy people in the world, the true like entrepreneurs, they won't ever say that. Like, we made it. Like, what is it? Like, you just don't make it. You're always making it. And I think another thing that doesn't get talked about is who are you bringing up with you? Who are you pouring into? Like, because it's not just all about me. It does say Basham Construction on it, but my goal, I remember working, for McAllister. Alan Eshe was my boss, and he was the most selfless leader that I was ever able to work under. And he would always say, he would literally just like paint a picture, like while you're at a sales meeting. He's like, my goal is to see all you guys up there on that stage winning, and you guys did it, and you guys did it. Well, it's like, well, Alan, you got us there. He's like, yeah, but you guys did the work, right? That's the mentality that I'm pouring into my team. We started off doing a lot of marketing videos, like Carrie and I would do them, and we're just not like, that's not like our thing, but somebody's got to do it, right? You got to start it. So I would always be in the videos and just get things moving. But my goal is that Ryan's never in the videos. The team is, right? That's the goal. So yeah, it's just back to that selfless mentality, that no quit grind is it's just really what it is. There's no secret to success. It's, are you working hard, and are you doing what you say you're going to do, and don't quit. Don't ever quit.
Yeah.
I share with my son, Bo, he's a very good lineman. He's working at it. And I said, the quicker you can understand as a lineman that it's always your fault, the better off you're going to be. The quarterback can throw a horrible play or horrible pass. It's your fault. Just accept it. It's always your fault. And then that's out of the way. Now let's go get the real work done, right?
Yeah.
Accountability is where you make people do what they say they're going to do. So,
yeah, absolutely. I love, the sports analogies. Something that we were talking about before this was, viewing your business. It's not just a business. It's a sport. It's not just a career. It's a sport.
Yeah.
And I love that because I played a lot of baseball growing up. That was kind of my sport. I did play some football, but I was a late bloomer. And so I was getting pounded on by kids for a while. And and I mean, it taught me a lot of resilience in that time. But I think the biggest thing that I learned in sports is being a part of the team, right?
Yep.
Like you said, like you take responsibility, not just for your own stuff, but for everybody else's, elevate the people around you. So, I mean, speak to that, speak to how you're building your business as a sport, and as like, how does that change how you approach your business and viewing it as more of a sport?
I'd give you one word. It's culture. Culture is key. And a lot of people, I remember I was at an interview with Frank Reich. He used to coach the Colts, and it was like, there's like 50 of us in there. And it was really cool because you could talk to him like eye to eye. And so he got a question. I said, yeah, I got a question, Frank. How do you build culture? How do you build a good culture? And he stared at me and goes, that is a great question. He's like, I'm going to need about 5 or 6 minutes. And he just poured into it. And I knew kind of what he was going to say. But anyway, culture is king. We have core values. We have 10 of them right now. And we make all our decisions, from hiring to how we deal with customers to making decisions whether we take a job or not, all off those core values. I could walk into, I share this with Bo Ryan all the time. I could walk into a locker room before a football game and tell you if you're going to win or not. And if you got a running back always yapping at the line, oh, you guys don't block, and you're always pointing fingers and all, that's a horrible culture. That culture, you will lose every game. Every game. Now, if you have a team that wins together, so for example, a quarterback throws a 20-yard dart into the end zone, if that whole line and everybody's not running down there celebrating, you got a culture problem. If you've got a quarterback or a running back, it's always saying, I, me, look at me, whenever he's getting interviewed, and he's never crediting the line or the coach, they got a bad culture. So culture is so critical. I've been a part of so many sales organizations. I'm 47. So I've got some experience now, to where, 20 years ago I didn't. But now I do have some experience. I know what culture looks like, good culture, not bad, right? I know the key things to look for when hiring people. Projects. I know there's not every project is a good fit for every organization. When leads are down, a lot of companies will just take anything and everything, and that's not always the right thing to do, because you can get 1 or 2 or 3 jobs that just really just go wrong, and then that's your identity for a while. So I think culture, we don't talk about it enough. A lot of people don't understand how to build culture, and I think that's kind of somewhat the juggernaut, but that has been our key to success is culture. Doesn't mean we're bulletproof. Doesn't mean we don't make mistakes, and it doesn't mean that we have it all figured out, right? But if you keep that in front of you all the time, your core values, you review them, you talk about them. I mean, we talk about them on the podcast. Customers see that. They understand you're taking it seriously. They understand that, hey, this guy or this company is really trying to make a difference in the marketplace, right? That's what you're trying to go for. Anybody that says they're perfect is lying. We all make mistakes. We all goof up, but it's how you react to those is what separates you from everybody else.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say that, the people that own it quickly and tell me, hey, like I missed this, I forgot this, I messed this up somehow. Like, if you come to me and you tell me that, man, I want you on my team.
Yeah.
Because if I discover it, I'm going to be ticked.
Yeah.
But
it's like guys I hire, like new guys I hire, like, if you don't know how to do this, do not be ashamed or afraid to tell me that. I'll be pretty irked if you half-ass it, and then I got to pay somebody to fix it. It just makes us look bad. If you're up front with us, I got a guy named Don. He does a lot of punch work for us, but he only does certain things. And I'll throw stuff at him, and he's like, yeah, I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm like, dude, that's great. You're actually going to get more of my work because I trust you, right? I trust that we're customer first on everything we do. If it's not about the customer, if your first concern is how quick can I get paid, you're not working for me. Because that tells me you're just worried about getting paid. I'll always pay you. There's guys out there that try to screw you. You got to have your wits about you. But, I mean, you got to be customer focused or you're not going to make it.
Yeah. You brought up an interesting point, and I think this is universal everywhere. Like we mentioned, you're in Indiana. I live in Utah.
Yeah.
But I think everywhere there's sort of this notion of the sketchy contractor, right?
Yeah,
I think, unfortunately, we just live in that world.
Yep.
And so, I mean, now you have more of a name for yourself. Now you've hopefully carved out a piece of your market that people know you, people trust you, things like that. But you're always going to have those people that are skeptical. So
sure.
What do you do in your business to set yourself apart from those businesses? What do you do that does that? And then how do you sort of put that out there to people and tell them, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah, we're in a different world nowadays than it was 10, 20 years ago. It's all social media. It's all what you see on that phone or whatever. So I like to educate customers. I like to be consistent on my marketing. We do a lot on social media. We used to get into the chatter pages quite a bit. We've kind of pulled back a little bit on that. I feel like people know who we are, so I don't need to be like in your face 24/7. But I do think staying consistent, showing people what you do for a living. We try to get creative with videos. Jeff, he owns Campfire Video Solutions, does all my videography. So he'll put together some cool videos for us that we'll launch. Sometimes people get tired of just seeing before and after pictures. So we try to shake it up a little bit. But really the key ingredient I feel is just show what you do, even if it's small. Like when I was doing Honeydew's home projects, I laugh at it today. I would put in a little corner shelf and I'd just show a picture. I'd put it on there. People are like, oh, wow, I got just the littlest things, right? And then we'd show big things. We'd show we'd show our failures. I mean, we would. We're like, man, we really goofed this up. We re-roofed the wrong house one time by accident. There was 30 of them. They all looked the same. They were all getting re-roofed. However, that one just wasn't ready yet. Luckily, it worked out. But so there's things that people just want to know you're real. They want to know you're not here, like real estate, even construction. When it's hot, everybody and their brother is a realtor or a GC, right? When it gets tough, like it is now, they start, fading away and they go get other jobs or stuff. The real ones are there for the long haul. We have websites, we have core values, we just have branding, right? We're here to stay, and we value our customers. We love our customers, and it should show. Like when you leave a job, a sincere thank you should leave an impact on that customer, right? So gratitude is a huge thing we talk about often. I know you listen to the podcast. We talked about gratitude. I post about it. It's one of our core values. But that is, to me, is a very critical piece. There's so many more, but that to me is what stood out without question.
Definitely. Yeah. I like the idea of gratitude. I like the idea of being vulnerable, being authentic. I think, people, we're not that far apart, but people in our generation, my generation, we can kind of smell the BS now.
Yeah.
I think most of us grew up on social media. We've kind of seen it evolve. We've seen the fake influencers for so long. We can just smell it a mile away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so for you to go on social media and say, I just re-roofed the wrong roof here. This is what I'm learning from this.
Quite a few years ago, but it's just, one of those things that, it happened. I mean, I didn't hurt anybody, right?
Yeah.
And we owned up to it. We took care of it. But you try to avoid those mistakes. Trust me, those things cost you some money. But I always looked at like losing money or a job that wasn't very profitable. I look at that as like an education. Like that paid for your education. It may have cost you, whatever, but at least you learned something, right? That's one thing. If you're not, when I coached football, it's like we're either winning or we're learning. I didn't like that losing piece. But I mean, when you get into big boy football, it's winning, losing. That's what life is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I like to raise, the young generation.
No, I love it. I think that's awesome. Well,
So,
to pivot a little bit, you've talked a lot about your marketing. Marketing is a huge piece for your business, for what you do. It's how you and I got in contact initially, because I followed your page because I do a lot of work with builders. I saw what you were doing, and it really stood out to me because I said,
oh, thank you.
This is somebody that has invested in their marketing, has probably tried some stuff, knows what he's doing. And so I wanted to be able to learn how to emulate that for some of my clients. But talk to me about like what you've learned you've been doing it for 6 years now. What have you learned about marketing for the construction business? What do you feel like is going well for you right now? And what's maybe one thing that you're struggling to be able to grasp?
Yeah, right now what's going well is just consistent jobs and consistent posting. We do get busy, like when it's super, super busy, we do not post every project. Probably should, but we don't. So a lot of things get left behind. Like a lot of people don't realize how much roofing we do. We do a lot of roofing, but I don't even market it. The marketing side of it, I just feel like if you can get for example, we do so many kitchens, a lot of kitchens. And for about a year and a half or 2 years, I felt like we were doing the same kitchen everywhere, the same grays, the whites, just the same, color mood, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was like, we finally got a couple, we just wrapped one up downtown Indy. It's beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful kitchen, but it's very downtown, right? It's very against what we've been doing for the last 2 years. There's
a little different design wise.
There's some uniqueness. The countertops are crazy. They're like stuff you would always want to do, but you didn't have the guts to do, right? So some really cool stuff, and we love those. So we started showing those, and the difference, because I track everything we post, is you could tell people were getting bored with the gray or the white. And then we splash this, glass black backsplash with, light blue, just a cool looking kitchen. And I mean, it tripled. Just the color. I mean, these are before afters. Everybody's getting tired of it, right? But just the color scheme, people were like, wow, that's really cool. People get tired of how you market.
Yeah.
So from a business owner's perspective, I don't have a marketing degree. I just, like I said before, I've worked for so many thankfully high-end companies that I was a very successful sales guy at all of them, that I got to learn from all those people, right? So everything that I'm applying today are bits and pieces of my life, people that's poured into me. And I think that is so cool. So when we market and we do, like I do a lot of the marketing, Carrie does some, we've hired a marketing lady as well. She just kind of started with getting her ramped up a little bit. That's been kind of challenging for me just because I am a control freak in a good way, not a bad way. I like to have my hands on everything. And working with me at times can be a little annoying probably, because I am like that attention to detail that it's got to be perfect, But I found that consistency was more important. I mean, we hire a very nice photographer. She does a great job with our afters. I think that was a good move. But all that stuff costs money.
Yep.
None of this stuff's free. You can do it yourself, but you're going to notice the difference.
Yeah.
Hiring a professional versus doing everything yourself, it's kind of like that pickup truck carpenter. The reason I'm a general contractor, and I used to do all the work myself. The reason I'm a GC is I have the best tile guy. I have the best cabinet installer. I have the best painter. I have the best of all those, right? So we're building an all-star team. That's the mindset. Like I share with other people that I talk business with. Like if we were a football team, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
We may not win the Super Bowl every year, right? And that's another thing I want to talk about is especially the younger generation. Business is a season. Like it's a multiple year season, right? So say you want to be in business for 25 years. Say Tom Brady wanted to be a quarterback for 25 years. All right. Let's use him as an example. Everybody knows who he is. He didn't win the Super Bowl every year. So as a business owner, you have to be okay with, hey, I know that I'm going to try to win every year, but there's going to be years that you're rebuilding or you're leveling up Like, for example, this year, I'm going to guess my fourth quarter is not going to be the best fourth quarter I've ever had, right? Now, the 3 before that, I could say they were. So there's ebbs and flows with business, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to understand there's a reason for that, right? If we're just winning Super Bowls every year, what's the fun in that, right? There's things called growth. There's pain. All that stuff is so important. Losing is very, very important. Getting your butt kicked is very, very important. It is. If you just win, I'm not sure you're doing it right, to be honest. You're probably, I don't know, cheating. I don't know. You're not going to win every time. Yeah. And you have to learn from those losses. I think that's the most critical part, is learning from your losses.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. One thing you said that really stood out to me, not with the marketing piece, was, the people that you put on your team. I listened to a podcast. It's Let Me Save You 25 Years by the owner of Lovesac, Sean D. Nelson.
Oh, cool.
And he has a book that he put out, and so each podcast episode he kind of goes through the different chapters. And on the one, he's talking about hiring, and he said, I want to be the stupidest person in the room. Like, he's like, I'm the CEO, and it's counterintuitive. It feels weird to be like, I want to be the stupidest person in the room, but I want to put together the Avengers of my industry, right? Yes, like, I want to have, like you said, the best tile guy. I want to have the best framer. I want to have the best roofer. I want to have, like, these guys that, man, I go to them, they're just Johnny on the spot, and all I'm doing is just taking credit for their work, basically. You know what I mean?
It could feel like that, yeah. Yeah, I've often thought that way as well. Like, when we post stuff, it's like, well, because we have a lot of subs that just work with us. Like, we work on every job together. We have a team, like, it's the same everywhere, right? We do make adjustments. Some guys get complacent. Some guys they retire. Some of them, they just are done doing it, right? So I'm constantly hiring or looking for talent. When I'm sitting on my phone at night, I am not, I'll look at some reels here and there for laughter, but I'm scouting for talent. Figuring out different ways of networking, right? Figuring out different ways to sharpen your edge a little bit, to be a little ahead of everybody else. I am not out here to steal everybody's lunch. Yeah. I'm friends with a lot of my competitors, a lot of them. Matter of fact, it's so good that one of them, which I think is the GOAT in my opinion, one of them in the area, like, we'll be at my daughter's musical or whatever, and his daughter's doing the same thing. He'll come up there and smack me on the back, like, it's fun banter, if you will. And to me, that tells me, hey, we love each other. We respect each other. We don't want you to fail. He doesn't want me to fail, right? I think that right there is something that has been eroding for a long time, and we're trying to bring that back. Like, I don't wish anybody to not be busy. Anybody, even my worst enemies, the guys that lay down and screw me, right? I don't wish that on them either. But that's just how I am. That's how my mom raised me. But they're out there, they screw you. It is what it is, but that's on them. But yeah, I just think that brotherhood, if you will, or that family feel, if you will, is really super important. It gets you through those dark times. It does.
Yeah. One thing in networking, I've learned the term co-opetition. We're cooperating, we're competing a little bit. Other marketers in my area, they do things better than I do, and I do things better than they do in some ways, and it's finding those opportunities to, like you said earlier, say no to jobs. Say, hey, actually, you know what? I'm not really right for this website project for X, Y, and Z reasons. Can I give you the number to another, to somebody that I trust? Yeah. And being willing to do that, I think, is huge, because it builds our own credibility. It builds our own brand to say, for you, maybe you don't love doing whatever kind of project, right. and to say no to it builds your own authority, keeps your integrity. But then it also, it shows, hey, like you said, I value my competition. I don't want them to lose or to go anywhere, because they keep us honest. If they just blow us out of the water, or if we blow them out of the water, then there's a good reason for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm as competitive as they get. I really am. but I'm not going to steamroll anybody. Like I don't believe in that. I think that's a test of your character, really, if you want to boil it down. And I'm big into motivational speaking, that kind of stuff, personal development. That's why I started Learning to Fly. It's not a construction podcast. It's a personal development podcast. But I really feel like your character is tested when you have that decision. Could I steamroll this guy or could I help lift him up? Because I've been on both sides of that feeling, and it sucks to be on the wrong side, right? So I never want to be put in that situation, and I always want to help that other guy because I feel like, a lot of people say karma. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. It's just a buzzword to me, but it's probably real. I don't know. But I don't really want to be on the bad side of that. I always feel like there's enough to go around, and when times are lean, I think that's when you need to work harder. I think that's when you need to really find what you want out of this. A lot of times it's a checkpoint, like should I stay or go, right, for some people. But I don't quit, man. I don't quit on anything. So yeah. It's just it's a season, it's a season, and you'll get through it. So
yeah, I love a lot of the analogies to sports. You talk about the times where you're building, we're building our what's that called?
A team, like you're I'm sorry. Sometimes this is a real thing in podcasts. Sometimes you lose your thoughts because you're thinking of what you want to say next. But you're
building the program.
Yeah.
But I like that a lot.
Culture. We're building our culture. That's what. Thank you.
Yeah. But back to that marketing question. I talking about consistently posting. I think this is something that a lot of people bump up against as business owners. I'm curious your thoughts. As a marketer, I have my own thoughts, and maybe I'll put them in here. But
I'd love to hear them. I would love to hear them
because I think we fall into this trap with marketing that you brought up, right? Like we post because we're not busy enough. We start the marketing process. We're doing what we need to, posting on social media, updating the website, doing those things, investing in the marketing. And then we get so busy that we're like, I can't handle more work. So we stop marketing, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, for me, my thought is this, like, it's a lot easier to keep momentum than to start it, right?
100%.
And so, I think you're doing it the right way, but hiring it out, bringing somebody on that can capture the vision, capture your brand, it's tough because, like you said, your name's on the shirt. I did it so that my name's not on the shirt, but your name's on the shirt, man. Like, you need somebody that really represents your family, your name, your business, those 10 pieces of that are important to your culture. I mean, you need somebody that captures that vision for you. But if you can get somebody that can do that and consistently market, that's where scalability happens.
I agree.
Because otherwise, you hit those real ebbs and flows, and they happen more because now you have to push the rock back uphill. You have to get the momentum started again. Versus if you're marketing, yes, you do this, but it's not as big on the roller coaster.
You nailed it.
You hit bumps.
You nailed it. You did. You really nailed it. And I could talk a little bit because, like I said, we hired a marketing manager, and to be real, it's not their fault if I get frustrated, right?
Yeah.
It's really, kind of goes back to that line thing. It's always your fault, Ryan. Just understand that. The quicker you can accept that, the quicker we can move on, right? All right.
Yeah.
I always look at it like, man, I'm never really mad at the person. Ever.
Yeah.
I'm more mad at the situation. And 9 times out of 10, if you're being real with yourself, it's your fault. I didn't set clear expectations. I didn't follow up. I pushed it off to the next week because I was busy. I did this. Now, everybody has to be accountable for what they do, right? I don't ever want somebody to say, well, it's always everybody else's fault. Well, not really. Everybody needs to look inward. Even if it's not your fault, like, man, what could I have done to help eliminate this? Or it's called, being assertive, right?
Yeah.
Be intentional with your time. Take accountability, right? That's in our core values too. Just be accountable and be assertive. take the lead, right? Go the extra
Yeah.
mile, stuff like that. So really, you can be upset with a situation or a person, but if you really boil it down, you got to take responsibility for yourself too. Now, if you could check that off and say, hey, so-and-so, I asked you to do this, and this by this date, we both agreed on it, and you didn't do it, that's a different story.
Yep.
But if you're just thinking it and not explaining it to how you want it done, especially what you said, how can I get them to market my baby, right? Basham Construction's my baby. I put my name on it. So, yeah, it's very personal to me. It's going to be very, very, very difficult for me to put what's up here and in here to another human being.
Yes.
That's a big ask. So I'm going through that right now. It's a growing pain with our marketing person. They do a wonderful job. It's just they don't understand what's going on in here all the time, and that's really a me problem, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies, they just get all crappy and they fire people or they whatever. But I want good culture. I want people to be excited to be here. Mondays used to be the worst day of my life, and now Mondays are like, man, it's the start of a good week. What are we going to get done this week? Not every week's that way, but I mean, we live in a world full of opportunity. That's one thing that just blows my mind that I get super excited about. Even on my darkest days, man, we got opportunity. Yeah. It's not like we live somewhere where there's zero opportunity. So unless you're just a lazy bum, then live that life. But if you want to change it, you have all the tools, especially nowadays, all the tools in the world to change your life, right?
Yep.
So go do it. Not every day is going to be easy, but if you never quit, you'll be all right. You'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think painting a vision for your life is something I'm a big subscriber to. Man, I could talk about that all day, but
yeah.
I want to close out with two questions. I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you're trying to run a company too. So I wanted to ask two quick questions. Sure. One is about the marketing, and then we'll wrap up with the final question. So sure. As you're preparing to bring on this marketing person, as you're, preparing to hand off this important part of your baby, like what have you tried that has or hasn't worked as you, segment that out and say, hey, like, I'm going to hand this off, this responsibility. What have you found did and didn't work and felt through those growing pains?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in letting people shine. Let people do what they know what they're doing. Right. So you got to release some, like you're letting the rope out a little bit. So like one thing, for example, that they've done, like we have a cool newsletter that they put together. It's very professionally done. I'll be real with you. When it was first brought to my, like, we're going to do this, I was like, this is kind of lame.
Yeah.
But it's like every customer's opening it. They read it, they see it, they're engaging. That was a huge shock to me. But I just had a bad attitude about a newsletter because it's like sending a postcard when you're on vacation, right? That was my mentality. But that's also my ignorance. So that's been working very well. I think customers can see through scheduled posts that are, like every Tuesday or every Thursday. I've noticed some that we'll lose some followers just because they don't want to see that in their feed. Like they still are connected to us. They just don't see our updates. I think that's, again, getting back to that intentional piece. Like every post should have a little bit of you in it, right? A little bit of, man, that feels good. I believe in that versus something that's scheduled just to post. I think posting to post, again, I have zero marketing. I didn't go to college for this, but I do feel like, I'm a consumer. If somebody's posting the same crap to me every Tuesday and Thursday, whatever, I'm just picking those days, I would wise up to that. I'd be like, yeah, this is just, you're just keeping that going. I think you have to be intentional with your posting. Everything's got to be unique. Everything's got to mean something. That's my 2 cents. We're not huge. We're a small construction company. So maybe that's why it's a little more important. You get the bigger conglomerates, they can get away with that. So.
Yeah. Well, I love that advice. I like the, authenticity. Like going back to that, I think that's what people crave on social media. And so being authentic, actually showing up a little bit, I think that those are key pieces for
sure. And one thing I just had a meeting with Anna, she's the marketing lady, and one thing that is still echoing in my head, and she said it, she's like, people want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hit me right between the eyes. Because I challenged the newsletter, not in a negative way. I'm like, do we really need this newsletter? She's like, this is the most successful newsletter. She's got like 30 clients, right?
Yeah.
Like that I have, period. It's like these people they want to hear from you. And I was like, man, well, maybe then I'm thinking maybe let the teams, maybe they do need to hear from me more, right? So I'm considering that a little bit of a wake-up call, like, hey, you need to adjust and put yourself out there a little bit more. The people want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a takeaway that just happened Tuesday or Wednesday. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think that's important advice for sure. All right. Last question I want to ask you, Ryan.
Yep.
You talked about two names that stuck out. You described them as the GOAT. You said Mike Cody and another guy named Alan. They were both leaders of yours.
Alan Eshe, yep.
So a question I usually ask is, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten? But we're talking about caught, not taught there, right? Like what did you catch from Mike and Alan that, you know, hey, these guys are the GOATs. These guys taught me, like, what did they pour into you that now you're trying to take into your business?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I'll answer one for each. I got 100 of them for each one, but like Mike Cody, I'm a slow learner, man. I am. I went to a single A high school. I ain't nothing. But on Saturdays, he would always tell me to meet me at a job we were working on. And I'm like, this is weird. So I'd meet him and he'd show me all the things I screwed up on. And his grace and his way of doing things is second to none. He's like, I'm paying you. I'm going to pay you to fix it, but I want you to know the right way to do things. So every Saturday for, gosh, I felt like eternity, I was fixing stuff. So he taught me quality. He taught me there's zero compromise to quality. It's got to be the best it can be, period, right? And he was cool about it. He paid it. Like, I was young. I was like 20. Then I'll go to Alan Eshe. When he interviewed me as a sales guy, you know, and I did very well there. But he asked me, he's like, where do you want to be in 5 years? The notorious, where do you want to be in 5 years? I said, I'm going to have your job. And he laughed. And Alan has this barrel laugh that you can hear from Florida. I mean, it's just amazing. And he goes, he's like, why do you want my job? I said, I want to lead all these salespeople and build a heck of a sales team. He goes, you know what your problem's going to be? I said, what's that? He goes, you'll never find somebody that works or sells like you, and you'll be miserable and you'll just hate it. And forever I held on to that. I'm talking years I held on to that. And it hit me about 2.5 years ago. I'm like, you're right. Like, nobody's going to have the fire that you do as a business owner, right? And why would you expect it? If they do, they're probably going to go out and do their own thing. So those are two things that I think about. I'm not going to say every day, but often. So, yeah, I'm so thankful for both those experiences.
Yeah, I love the idea of bringing somebody under your wing, mentoring them, like holding them accountable to their stuff, but being that patient. I think that I've learned something from that, you know, just in having my employees and stuff. That's pretty inspiring to me.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, like, people won't be as invested in your company as you are. Like, you will always be your best salesperson. You'll always be the key guy. But I think that, like you're talking about, like we've been saying, the more that we build that culture, the more that we put a fire in people, inspire them, make them proud of their own work, I think that it really creates something special when we're able to do that. Yeah,
I agree. 100% agree. Yeah.
Well, Ryan, this has been so fun, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thanks for, you know, teaching people a little bit about what you've learned. Hopefully help people wing it a little bit less when it comes to their businesses, their marketing. Where do you want people to check you out? Do you want them to find you on Facebook, Instagram? What's the best spot?
Yeah, Basham Construction on Facebook. Hit me up there, Ryan Basham, on my personal page. I don't check that much, but Basham Construction I check all the time. Instagram, same thing. Or hit me up, give me a call, text message. I'm not hard to find. You know, Deion Sanders said that better than I did, but I'm not hard to find at all. My cell phone's out there, email. I love talking this to anybody, and I'm super thankful you had me on. It's an honor, really, that you found us. I mean, that's cool. I never realized somebody from Utah would find us in the state of Indiana. I know a lot of builders out there. I do talk to a lot of people in the nation, so But very, very thankful. I don't take this for granted. So thank you for having me on. And I'd love to help anybody. And I'm going to start listening to your podcast and learning from you guys too. So sincerely, thank you very much.
No, thank you for being here. And thank you, those of you that are watching. This has been another edition of Winging It. Hopefully you took some value, and we'll see you next time.